aka Carol the Coach. And tonight I wanted to talk with you about anniversary dates. Whether you're an addict or a partner, you know that anniversary dates are tough. You know, it's interesting because when I talk with addicts, they say to me, I don't particularly want to remember the day my wife or my relationship found out that there was a problem. I'd rather remember my recovery date because that's what I celebrate. And although I understand that, you know, in the big book and in SA and SAA, they say you don't want to close the door on the past because you need that to remember and to obviously redirect your future. But more importantly than that, I'm here to talk to you about empathy and how you do that with your partner. And trust me, she remembers that date. She remembers it because it was the worst day of her life, or his. And so I want you to be really sensitive to that. And when that anniversary date comes up, I want you to have something special prepared for her. Whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, I want you to give her some sort of acknowledgement that's measurable. A card, a note, a letter that says something to the effect of, thank you so much for staying with me and working through this with me because I recognize that that was the most horrible day of your life. And I cannot believe the grace that you've given me to stay with me. And I so appreciate the fact that I caused you all this pain. I'm doing better. I'm working through it. I've got my supports. And you still carry the baggage of so many of the wounds that this inflicted upon you. And so I want you to know that every day of my life, I thank God that you are there for me, that you've given me the grace, that you've hung in there, that you've kept our family together. Because not every woman would have done that, or not every man. And I just want you to know that I appreciate that. You know, if you work with me, you know that I always tell my clients, especially the addicts, that the first thing you need to do is acknowledge the pain. Then you need to validate her experience, and then you need to reassure her. So perhaps that last line in a card or that last paragraph in a letter might be, I want you to know that I'm working through this. I want to be a better man or woman. I am here for you. I don't expect you to believe me, but that's what my fellowship's all about. That's what my program's all about. That's what my therapy is all about. It's about self-improvement because this is how I want to show up. And I want to reassure you that although I had that old life where I told many, many lies, this is a life that I'm practicing with rigorous honesty. And so again, I so appreciate what you've gone through, how you've stood beside me, and how we're still together. Now, I know you probably haven't done this perfectly. And so when you're telling her that you've got her back or that you're practicing rigorous honesty, she probably can poke holes in that because you haven't been absolutely honest. It takes a long time to practice that skill of honesty. You know, perhaps you did lie by omission by not telling her that your boss had talked to you about the porn that they had discovered on your website from the past. Perhaps you did refrain from telling her that one of your affair partners was able to contact you and you blocked her number and you never responded. Or maybe you out and out deceived her by not sharing the urges and the cravings that you're having when she asked you. You're a work in progress, and that's what I would tell you. And I always encourage my addicts that I work with to default to honesty, knowing that there may be conflict out of that, but in healthy relationships, conflict breeds intimacy. So even though, and I know this is hard, even though you may not want to see her hurt, or you may not want to bring up the tension, I want you to do that because it will establish trust for her. So this anniversary, again, it matters not how many months, how many years, I want you to let her know. I want you to bring it up. I want you to say, thank you for having my back. And I promise you, when she realizes that you aren't taking her for granted, or the year, or the 2, or the 3 that's gone by, it will deposit some security in her love tank. And that's what you really need to do. That is your job in getting her to feel better. It's to deposit security into her love tank so that she can renew her relationship with you and breathe easily. And that's the best advice I can give you. So don't forget those anniversary dates. For some women, there are several in a year. It might have been the first time she was contacted by an old affair partner. And then maybe it was when you lost your job because of impropriety. And maybe it's when you went away to treatment. Or maybe it's when you came back. Or maybe it's the next time you slipped. You know what those anniversary dates are. I want you to write them down. I want you to keep a journal. When you remember them and you acknowledge them and you reassure her, it's the formula that makes the repair. And the repair is what has to happen to renew. I'm Carol Jurgensen-Sheets, a.k.a. Carol the Coach. And I guess I want you to trust me that I know what I'm doing here. Even if for some reason it brings up some conflict, just know that there are 2 things that happen to a partner when you bring up something. She will potentially put up her guard, say something nasty, jab you a couple of times because she's hurt, she's scared, and she wants protection. But more oftentimes than not, when I work with partners, if you've done the right thing and she's reacted harshly with post-traumatic stress, she'll think about it and she'll come back and she'll apologize. You know, it takes days and months and years to get over this. So please give her the grace too. Okay? Write those dates down and we'll see you next time for more Sex Help with Carol the Coach.